Team Liquid fighting for their lives here in Dream League Season 23.
Yeah, they need that 2-0. Again, if they get a draw, they're not completely out. They have to bank on one of those other teams to get 2-0'd today, and that puts it out of their hands. If they get a 2-0, it's a little bit safer, but you're still reliant on other results. So Liquid has to find this series really to feel a little bit safer. And Quest, again, they can just set up to ruin Liquid's day today. I mean, to be fair, if you're Liquid, again, you're already guaranteed into the Esports World Cup, into Riyadh Masters at the Esports World Cup. So maybe not as much pressure at this point. Like there are a couple of ways you can look at this if you're in Liquid's position, right? Like it's either you... Oh, okay, we have a little bit of a camera thing going on, but it's either you pressure yourself to do better or you kind of just relax. Try to use this as an improvement. You have your bigger staging grounds at Riyadh Masters at the Esports World Cup. So I'm going to be curious to see what Liquid we see today. Is it going to be high pressure? We need to win this. We need to stay in. We need to prove a point. Or are they more like, all right, we know we're messing up. We'll take it a little bit easy. Not too easy, but we won't let it get to us as much as I think what I'm trying to say.
Bit of a smoke out here from Team Liquid. Tier 2000 going to run into the Tier 1 tower. Will find himself a one hit from that Tier 1. Well, they are going to smoke up Team Liquid, trying to see if they can find TA 2000, but the smoke is immediately going to break. They'll place the wards down. They'll eventually see the meatbow, but it won't matter. Boxy now having a search around for a ward is not on the mark. He's actually on his side of the map, so neither side really able to find the observer ward they were looking for. As bottom lane, bit of a fight onto Mickey, forcing the level 1 rage out from him. He might actually be in trouble though. Ducalis does come in. They've got the venomous gale out is what I was trying to say. Is Mickey should eventually just drop and does. Nice start here for
what you're looking for. Yeah, definitely not the start you're looking for on Liquid side. They smoke under the ward right around the tower. I believe that did catch at the edge, allowing TA 2000 to hold his position to break that smoke, wasting some resources and giving that information that Mike would be isolated, but providing that kill for Quest. Still, off to the game we go. Down in mid, you have Nisha up against Noob against Sniper versus Primal Beast. Not the worst thing in the world for the Primal, but it's also not the safest for Nisha. There is a commitment that can come in here for Noob to run down. At the same time, Nisha does have some pretty good range. Level 3, if he goes 1-1-1, should be a lot more stable for the Sniper. But if no one backs him up and if the wave is not shoved in his favor, he is at risk of just getting run down by Noob. Really depending on how aggressive Noob decides to play this lane, but there is threat onto the Sniper. He's not the tankiest, doesn't have the highest HP. You do have the damage to deal with that in the Primal Beast.
You absolutely do. And he's just going to try and apply pressure here in the mid lane, but Noob's not going to be too concerned about it. Because bottom lane, you were looking at Mickey there for a second. He's back to the top CS, so even that early death won't really matter. He doesn't miss out on any creeps. Meanwhile, top lane, Ducalis does go down. Boxy able to secure first blood already, and that was the level 1 first blood. Just with the dispose alone, he was able to get that as bottom lane now, and Sania are going to be caught out. The torrent will land thanks to the setup of Omar. Sania trying to run, but they've got the Tidebringer hit here from Malik. And so 1-for-1 across the map on the position 5s.
Yeah, still going to feel pretty all right for the side of Liquid overall. I think you do kind of expect the bot lane to be a little bit rougher. Again, you have a level 1 Rage Lifestealer. It's not going to feel like the best. You're not going to be able to just run up and trade with Sprint Hero down mid.
A lot of damage from Noob, just diving Nisha past the Tier 1. Noob, he's going to try and survive through it and does make it. Thought he might want to go for the reset, but thinks better of it as he'll hand a tip over to Nisha, takes both water rooms onshore, and looks like he's going to be just fine to reset off the water rooms.
And that's the full commitment we're looking for from that Primal Beast. Gets to level 3, has the level 2 trample, the damage is there, no one's around to back up Nisha. And Nisha did have a Fairy Fire, but just not able to pop it in time. Really good play from Noob. Again, you have to be so cautious here as a Sniper. Does go for the level 2 headshot, so just once more poke damage onto Noob. But with how tied in the side lanes are, and you don't have the best opportunities to just TP in, try to make things go. Still, the top lane is a little bit of a pain point for the side of Quest. And you're laning into Tidehunter. You do have some good synergy with a slow into Dispose for even more slow and chase down. Venomancer and Meepo aren't the quickest, snappiest here, so just run out once you fully commit. Don't quite have the rebound in Boxy yet, but once that's up, definitely a lot more kill potential lining up there for the side of Liquid. Still for Quest. 3 kills on the board early on is going to feel really nice. Noob does manage to snipe away the bounty rune as well for another free top-up. And things are going swimmingly so far. The lanes, maybe in terms of CS, not so amazing. Yeah, despite Nisha dying, he is dominating the lane in CS. 7 denies, equal last hit. That's going to slow down the EXP gain for Noob by a substantial amount, despite Nisha being behind. He's not as far behind as you'd imagine him to be dying like that.
It certainly is not. And Noob not able to really take the big advantage you're looking for here in this mid lane. Boxy again, top lane, going to go into Ducalis, and they've just got so much damage. Ducalis trying to run, barely will make it out thanks to the body blocks of TA2000, but even just the right clicks coming out from Team Liquid with this level 2 sidekick of Boxy, it is causing huge problems for the Venom.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised with this build from Boxy, but it does make sense with the Tidehunter. A little bit more lifesteal apply with the Anchor Smash, a little bit more damage coming out. It allows you to trade through the Gale, so you don't really care too much about the Venomancer's DOT. Like, it doesn't even feel like they need that jump in with a rebound. You just run up with a Gush Slow, and then you get the follow-up from this coast, and that's more than enough to really threaten. So you do have to, again, watch yourself on the side of Quest. TA2000 does have the double rate bands, has the band of Elven Skin, so he does have a lot of armor to play with, has a pretty safe time in trying to trade back, but again, we'll want to try to scale up in the jungle as the levels build up. We'll see if he's going to be given room. But so far, Liquid making sure that the Meepo suffers as much as possible to slow down that critical spike with, say, Dragonlance, Axe, Blink here. Down mid.
Nisha is trying to man up, and it's going to work out. The dive in from Noob not working out this time around. Nisha just underneath that T1 tower was able to just outman the Primal Beast, and Nisha going to be very happy with that, just being gifted a free kill.
Yep. Does force a little bit of a reset for the sniper. He's not going to be able to hang around for a creep wave. They are starting to apply a lot of pressure bot here. Rage was committed for Mike.
Oh, they're going to try for Mike. They don't have the torrent. Malik's still going to just try and get the hits off, but Mike is going to be just fine, and does have a salve and a shared tango available for himself, so it looks like he's going to be just fine. Torrent. Oh, it's going to land. Ooh. Very nice taunt there from Malik. Landing perfectly onto Mike, cancelling off the salve. Mike certainly not having the most comfy lane. Malik has now overtaken when it comes to the CS.
And he has. I think Mick is still doing a fantastic job, though. 10 denies on the board, matching the CS of Malik. Things could be a lot worse for this Lifestealer. Mind you, he does need a good start. Not the quickest farmer in the Lifestealer, of course, especially in comparison to some like the Meepo timings that we've been talking about. I do like what Nisha's doing on mid, just trying to stack up his camp. Try to get that constant build-up with a Shrapnel. Does have level 6, but does not quite pick up Assassinate. Could go for that usual 2-2-2 we see. Maybe more emphasis on Shrapnel to clear out waves. Can be interesting to see that. And again, the side lanes are pretty tied in. No one can get that rotation onto mid. We are seeing Insania make a move now. Does not have the kinetic field, but I suppose if Noob does go too far forward, he could try. So doesn't seem like Insania is going to find too much for this movement.
Not quite yet, anyway. A Liquid at top lane. They're having a look around for this Venomancer. Ducalis has left the area, though. He'll connect mid to Noob, and they are actually going to smoke up as two. You've got an amp damage rune available here on Noob to boot, so plenty of damage available here for the Primal Beast. They'll head up towards the top lane. They'll see a courier of the Marcy, but instead they want the 7-minute Wisdom Rune timing, and well, Noob is going to be able to pick that up no problem. So Wisdom Rune has been stolen. 33 is going to show off anyway, but he's probably going to find out the hard way that he shouldn't have. It's Noob just going to do so much damage with that amp damage rune. And 33 still alive just barely, but the Pulverize is going to ensure he cannot survive. So now Boxy will try to get his way out. The nets are a little bit short here from TA2000, but they are just diving tier 2 towers, and they will secure a secondary kill now onto Boxy.
And that's how this lineup from Quest should go. Early aggression, try to play off the back of this Primal Beast, getting the room out to rotate, having that room control as well. Noob's done a fantastic job in just getting that snowball effect started for his team. Suddenly have TA2000 at the top of CS and in the top of net worth. We're rushing into the Ags, so not bothering with more stat padding beyond the 2 rate bands. So he's going to be a little bit of a harder target to get down once that Mega Meepo form is up. And for Liquid, they have to minimize these losses. They need time to build up. They'll find Noob.
They do find Noob indeed. Noob's just going to onslaught towards the north and he will be okay. The T1 top tower does officially now go down to TA 2000. TA, I mean, he's really started to overtake in terms of the net worth department. Already top at 4.2k just about here on the Meepo. And he's going to be rushing that Aghanim Scepter, of course, and it's going to be a rather quick exit at this rate. Not really much in the way of slowing him down at the moment.
No, Liquid have not been able to cross over behind that tier 1. They haven't applied really much tower pressure as well. Not that you'd expect that from a Tidehunter anyhow. But that does leave a lot of wiggle room for the Meepo to just scale up. And again, it's kind of Noob taking this early activity for his team on that Primal Beast. Even Malik's just camped down bot trying to work onto the Blade Mail. But you only need a Primal Beast, really. Does manage to get himself some good stacks as well, as it was scouted out by an Insane Illusion. Does prevent any sort of shenanigans from Liquid to try to steal. And for Liquid's part, well, this is the point in the game where it gets a little bit passive. You don't really have anyone that you can connect to. You will have Ravage ready on 33 now to T6. You don't really have anyone to play with that Ravage. Like, you know, level 6 on your supports, you're still a ways off. You'd kind of want Static Storm to maybe tie into that. Or at least the Unleash to try to burst someone down. Both of those skills are still a ways off. Again, back to just that movement for the Wisdom Rune. It cuts off these pivotal level 6s for Liquid to hope to get a playoff, and they're just going to be entrapped on the map. Some good aggressive wards already out from Quest as well, watching the bot jungle and protecting their top. Ensures that they can do whatever they want. They can keep their stacks going. They can keep farming. Noob. Oh, Noob.
Yeah, they do find the Primal Beast here, Noob. Trapped up in the kinetic field, going to try and fight back, but can do nothing. A nice gank here from Boxy and Nisha. And that'll be about it. I mean, they do get the glyph out for the tier 1 tower. They want to try and secure some power runes here, and they do find a very nice haste rune for Nisha. And immediately it's run up toward that top lane and see if you can find TA 2000 farming. Nisha is going to find the Veno instead. Ducala's probably just going to tank the gank for the team here, and that he will. Nisha will find a third kill for himself now on the sniper. At the very least, the Meepo does get out of there. No issues for him, but plenty of kills now going the way of Liquid.
Some important kills to find and to feed over onto Nisha. I love that our sniper is taking early activity with the Dragonlance already. Just working the map, knows that there has to be something happening to buy space out for tier 2-3, and especially for Mike to just have reading room down bot. They'll be able to find that top tier 1. They could start to set up some forward vision, although they don't quite have the obs wards to set up. They can start to threaten a little bit more onto TA 2000 once they have some information there. So they are keeping themselves in the game on Liquid's end. Quest, at some point, I think we will want to see Malik join in a little bit more frequently. He does have his Blade Mail up. He's rushing his tags as well. So the team fight does start to get pretty scary. Tying that in with, say, this Mega Meepo timing, which is only one part away now for TA 2000. And again, it's just this flash farm for Meepo. It can get so much done if you do just give it the space up top in the safe lane. Again, Liquid has just not been able to contest until recently. And still no wards forward. So all that space for TA is still there.
Absolutely is. You see Noob just taking so much farm here with the Ancient stacks as well. And Noob just desperately trying to get towards that BKB timing for the Primal, which is really when you start to feel very, very strong as the Primal Beast. A lot of catch-up farm to be had, though, because Noob has fallen relatively behind when it comes to the net worth department. Manisha still farming extremely well here on the sniper, just second only to TA 2000. Of course, TA now 1 point away from the point booster, just needs about 800 gold to fully have that up. Or rather, just fully have the Aghanim Scepter up is what I was supposed to say. Is Mike in the meantime does pick up his armlet, going straight for the Radiance up next. Meanwhile, Team Liquid, they're going to start applying pressure into that mid-tier 1. Question is, do the side of Quest want to try and defend? Because they don't have a glyph available. So you either commit the bodies for this defense, or you just let Nisha slowly chip away.
That does look like they will just hand it over. TPs are still coming late, though.
Malik's going to try and find a bit of punishment onto Boxy. And Boxy does have the help around to try and just bounce away, but it will not work out for him as he does go down first. And now Insania, who did stick around to try and help out, is looking to drop to boot. Insania, it does eventually go down, but now Malik is also being chased. The Ravage is going to connect perfectly. They do take down Malik on the Conquer. But that should be about it, because now Quest are moving in once again. They want Nisha on that sniper. Nisha, he'll get onslaughted here by Noob. Noob completely surrounded though, as Mickey's going to move in now with the infest. Noob needs a TP out, and he does make it. He will barely make it out. Here comes Boxy once again. But the TP took a little bit too long, so he never got the rebound off. Still, I mean, I suppose it's still worth it for the side of Quest, though you do give Malik away for 2 supports.
Yeah, it's still a decent enough time for Quest. I mean, you do manage to find some pretty good kills. Again, we were looking for activity coming out here from Malik, and it does pay off. The side of Liquid could have been a lot worse. You don't lose anything pivotal, at least, so... And you're still in good position. The mid tower isn't under the position where it can be sieged. Really good TP out from Mike. Again, just using an early infest to save. Does bail out Nisha quite nicely. And again, because no one else died, tier 1 still stands. You still have your triangle control. Mike has access to that for the flash farm. Going for the Radiance, as you mentioned, next. And he does have the room to get that done. However, you do have that full Ags up on TA2000 now. Going for the defusal next. So our Meepo is pretty much at the point where it can join in. Malik is still 3 parts away from the full Ags. And then the last piece of the puzzle there for the early aggression. But it's shaping up for that timing. Like, you lined us up with Noob's BKB along with that Ags of the Kunkka. And you can start to see Quest taking more activity. They will go for that smoke out now.
That they will. Down towards the bottom lane they go. Quest hoping for a kill into the tier 1 tower. Boxy is nearby. Noob will have his smoke broken on... In fact, not smoke. Invis rune is available for Noob, so Boxy has no idea that Noob is right by him. Pulverize, of course, is going to come out. Do they have the complete control? With TA2000, they probably will. In fact, they don't even need him. Noob will just take care of it on his own. Very nice pick up here for the side of PSG Quest, and now a tier 1 bottom tower to be taken to boot.
Just a big pick off for them to find. Again, just supports, but this time at least into objectives. Liquid are holding a weird position here. They will have Ravage up soon, though.
Yeah, but they don't have the mana for it. 33, a little bit low on mana. Does at least have the 1 charges if he needs to pop that Ravage, but looks like they do think better of it and just back out anyway. So nothing really comes out of that attempt. And of course, PSG Quest very, very happy just with that tier 1 tower alone. And of course, just back to the farm game here for TA2000. Though Mike, top lane, will get purged up. The infest will be onto the siege creepers. He'll try to run away, and it looks like he's going to be just fine. They actually just completely give up on the kill attempt. And Mike just going to relocate to the other side of the map and just get farming there.
Yeah. Does waste the infest, but again, all Mika wants to do right now is get that build up into the Radiance. Should be able to find that relatively soon here on the Life Stealer now. Not too far off from the Sacred Relic. And then things can start to amp up. And while all that happens, again, Liquid haven't used their big team fight spell in the Ravage. We'll have that pocketed up. Going for the Mage Slayer now on 33 to mitigate some of that output here with the Anchor Smash. Gonna be a nice little bit of utility, especially up against Lucalis and Malekith, even to an extent onto TA2000 with all these poofs going on. So that will provide some more survivability for the team up front. Overall, I think a slower pace like this does feel better for Liquid. I say slower, and they've been dropping heroes, but it has been supports. As long as it's only those supports and you keep some semblance of farm parity going here on your cores, you're in a good spot. This Mega Meepo threat is still hanging over their heads, though. Blink Dagger coming out for TA2000 next does have the full defusal up. So at some point that will have to come into play, along with that Ags for Malik, and of course the BKB for New, which is only 100 gold off. They have done a good job on Liquid, just planting some heavy defensive warding. They know they want to hug this bot area. This is the area Quest is going to try to contest. And they want to keep that build up for themselves to have in their side of the map. So I do like this. It's just set up for the eventual fights to break out. There is some forward vision coming out here from Quest right in front of that tier 2 by the hot tub. But it's not an area they can sneak easily into. I mean, they did get the box kill there, but didn't feel like they even needed that vision earlier on for that one.
That they didn't. Insania getting some deep wards down at this top lane. Just keeping tabs of anyone that wants to farm that area. Meanwhile, bottom side, you do have Noob and Ducalis who's kind of sticking around by 33 and Boxy. Though no jump to be made yet. They don't seem too interested in trying to force a fight by that tier 2 bottom tower. Rest of Quest just kind of hugging the Meepo almost and just ensuring that he does remain safe. Of course, Team Liquid just trying to buy more space for Mickey, who is still relatively behind on the Lifestealer, but is getting relatively close now to the Radiance being up, so his farm will start to escalate quite a bit faster. Bottom lane, Liquid looking at Noob on the Primal Beast, but they need a good way of jumping it. Just trying to get the vision maybe for a glimpse back on Insania. 33 will just casually wrap around. The smoke will be broken, but they are just going to be able to back off. Noob is perfectly fine, and Team Liquid, they find nothing for this smoke.
Yeah, and again, now Quest hits that spike. Ags up on Malik, instantly smoking out with the BKB already on Noob. They can cause some serious damage onto Liquid now, but have to be a lot more cautious here. Again, the forward vision of Quest is limited. If they catch anyone out, they're pretty much gone for.
The question is, can they catch somebody, though? I mean, Nisha is a pretty damn great target in the mid lane. Smoke broken on Insania, which is not exactly the target they would have preferred, but the target they'll have to take. Insania actually does end up dropping the Static Storm as well, just in case. But that is going to be a mid-tier 1 tower now going down for the side of Liquid. I don't think they'll mind too much anyway. They did find the opposing tier 1 tower quite a bit of time ago, so not the biggest loss in the world.
No. Do manage to hit that Radiance up now for Mika, so his farm can escalate. It's all about mitigating losses, right? Again, Liquid have only been dropping their supports really in the past few fights. As long as it stays that way, you're happy. They're getting a lot of value from that early defensive vision they've dropped, although it is set to expire. It does allow them to see where Quest wants to be and how Quest will want to position for these fights. They also see the Ags on Malik already on that Kunkka, showing it the creep wave. They still need an initiation tool. That is the one thing lacking for Liquid. This Blink for 2-3 has to come out soon.
Malik's trying to start a fight by the tier 2 tower. Down Boxy with a turret. Now TA2000 going to try and jump him and blow him up, but they do have the help of Mickey moving in. And TA2000, he's in the Mega Meepo form, but it does not work very well up against that Lifestealer. Ravage is going to connect, and they've got the Meepo down. Yeah, Mickey just kind of shredded him once he went into that Mega Meepo form. Meanwhile, Malik will also drop on the Kunkka. Ducalis does manage to TP away, but they have lost 2 cores for the price of a support. Not great news for PSG Quest.
No. Again, it's what we were talking about with this Mega Meepo into Lifestealer. It just boosts your Lifestealer's damage. He has a lot of output for that Feast. And he has a lot of sustain because of how much HP a Mega Meepo has with that stat sharing. You're also not at peak Mega Meepo yet. You don't have the maxed out divided restand. And that will open up Roshan now for the side of Liquid. You won't be able to find out. And that was a really split up fight from Quest. Noob was trying to isolate the backline, trying to jump Nisha, couldn't quite clean up the kill. There was a concussive grenade on Nisha to create distance. And right at the Primal Beast, the front line for them to play with his Meepo. It was just way too divided for Quest. Again, it was the fight in 2 fronts. You can see Noob all the way off screen, not able to really help out his team there.
Pretty rough situation here for PSG Quest. And they're the ones that forced the fight to boot. I mean, the fight never needed to happen. They just had their spikes with the Ags on the Kunkka, so they thought they could go, but it certainly did not work out in their favor. And you are seeing the issues, I think, with the Mega Meepo form now against that Lifestealer just being a pretty big problem against Mickey. And I don't think it's going to get much easier as time goes on, sadly, so we'll see how they do want to try and adjust to make this style of draft work against Liquid. But for now, I mean, they've got a 3k advantage still sitting on PSG Quest. The thing is, it's not going to last very long if this keeps happening. Like, one more team fight, net worth lead will just swing Liquid's way. And it seems though the win probability has already swung Liquid's way up to 58%.
Yeah, again, when you have that Meepo, you really do want to snowball hard. And it's also because you have something like the Venomancer for Ducalis, right? Like, this hero, this Veno does not scale all too well, especially as soon as we start seeing more spell immunity come in. If that's even something Nisha considers, he's so far back that Ducalis can't even threaten onto the sniper, and Lifestealer's not going to care with his own rage. So you lose a lot of the utility on one of your heroes. It becomes basically what? A free walking ward with Plague Wards. It's really where all the utility has. That forward vision they set up earlier does pay off onto Ducalis as well.
Poor old Ducalis. He's going to get destroyed here by Nisha. Not much he could have done about it. He did try to fight back with the Noxious Plague, but it meant really nothing. And so with that, I mean, the sniper again has become a pretty damn big issue. You've still got the answers here with the Primal Beast, and speaking of the Devil Noob, he's going to rush Insania. He will find the Disruptor, but is forced to BKB TP away, and they might still have the damage through it, but no. Thankfully, they will not, and Noob will make it out. That's kind of the concern, though. Like, you've got to pop a BKB, you find a position 5 Disruptor, but you almost lose your life in the process.
Yeah, and that BKB pop is pretty costly. And you are reliant on Noob holding the front line there to play with that Mega Meepo when it does come out from TA2000. Just having that spell immunity go down all the way to 6 leaves a lot of openings. That Liquid can start to really punish. It's already setting up for a top tier 2 siege here. Doesn't feel like we're going to see too much from Quest in terms of the defense, although Malik is around the area. But without a BKB to back up Noob, 40 seconds away from that, he's just not going to be able to front line. They will have to surrender a tier 2 very early on to Liquid at 24 minutes in. Force out the fortified slow at the process at least. They have 2 minutes on this Aegis for Mika. He does not care. He's just going to go again.
Why not? No real need to back off here for Team Liquid. They are looking very, very strong here for game 1. The PSG Quest, the ones that need to find a way back into this game, I think now, as they will lose that top tier 2 tower. Back to the farm game here for Liquid. TA2000, I mean, I can only imagine what his plan is to try and deal with this scenario now, because I mean, you really did see how fast Mickey just got through his HP pool as the Mega Meepo. Looks like he is going to go for the dig, so going to pick up the shards, which could be pretty annoying for Liquid to try and deal with, but we'll see if it works out for it. I don't think it's going to be so simple. This Team Liquid, they're smoked up as 3. Into the mid lane they go. Ducalis will see Mickey. Malik, in the meantime, is being pinged out. They did see him with an Observer Warden. They will glimpse him right back onto the high ground, but he'll X himself back to the low ground. Malik just trying to get the hell out of there. A very nice torrent flying out from the Kunkka, buying himself a little bit of time as Insania does go down. So does Nisha by the looks of it. They do find themselves a very tasty sniper kill, but can you deal with the Lifestealer? Mickey's going to rush in. They're going to find themselves Omar at the very least, but the Ravage really connected on nothing else. It's TA2000 looking to move back in now onto Mickey. We'll just split up and try to do it that way, but he needs to run because Mickey is still just a huge problem here for the Meepo. Rages up through the X. We'll go instead onto Ducalis to find the easier target on the Venomancer. And so props to the side of PSG Quest. Like they do find Nisha. They do take the sniper out, but you see with Mickey, they just don't really have an option.
They really can't stand up to that Lifestealer at this point. They isolate out the squishy targets. Again, they split that fight into two fronts, except this time around, it's Noob taking point with the rest of his team, and it's kind of Malik caught in the flank, which is kind of the ideal scenario for you at that point for Quest. Again, as long as this Primal Beast can be on top of someone with some heroes surrounding, you don't really mind if it does split apart. Mika's still going for tier 2s. Aegis does expire at this point.
Well, they do get the torrent off. Rebound, pulverize. Mickey, oh, he's overstayed his welcome. Mickey is down by the tier 2 tower, and Boxy trying to help out will also drop. Mickey, he never actually popped the rage as he came out of the disruptions. The torrent hit him immediately, and they just bursted him down.
I don't know if the rage even helps him at that point, but the pulverize there to still hold him down through that debuff immunity would have had maybe enough damage. Maybe not in the follow through, sure, once pulverize is down, but it's still a risky position. He was playing on the edge of that Aegis. Expires right as the tower falls. Trying to maximize it. Tower doesn't even fall, by the way. And the side of Quest, again, some good punishment. 10 to 15, 8k lead up. The investment in the Meepo is certainly paying off. The Disperser and the Suppress has been causing some kiting issues for Mika, right? Like, it's hard to chase down when you're slowed down by quite the amount, and, you know, the Meepo is kind of buffed up as well. So trying to sustain through that fight is a lot more complicated than it would be for the side of Liquid. You are going to hit that point as well where TA2000 can start to face up against the Lifestealer with a Scotty, just to mitigate some of that lifesteal Mika has. You have some good answers here on the side of Quest. Still Liquid going for a smoke out. Ravage only a few seconds away. could try to force something if they find an angle in.
Into the mid lane. I mean, Malik's going to just clear out the creep wave with the X back. PSG Quest doing a very good job of just avoiding Team Liquid for now. They'll just hang out on the eastern side of the map, and it seems as though Team Liquid are going to be unable to really get there in time to start the fight that they really wanted. They'll run down towards the Radiant jungle instead now, but again, it just feels like they are quite lost as to where PSG Quest are, and PSG Quest, well, they've smoked up themselves now as 5. Running through the bottom lane they are. So they might just go through the twin gates and try to meet Team Liquid up towards that top left corner of the map. And that they all will, straight through the twin gates. Nisha was showing on a creep wave, so they know he's around the area somewhere.
Oh, I didn't see it. No.
Tania, he'll drop the static storm immediately. They found Ducalis. The Ducalis is going to go down, but here comes TA2000, cancelling the TP of the Disruptor. And he will take him out immediately. As now Malik got the boat out onto 33, the Tide Hunter. He's gone as well. Boxy trying to man fight here, but Noob's going to use the Pulverize on the Marcy and takes him down. Zmikke, he has been netted up. He's got no rage for another 5 seconds, so he has to fight against TA2000. He's actually kind of winning the fight right now, though. Gets the rage off. TA, he goes into the Mega Meepo form, trying to rush Nisha. Nisha from a mile away, trying to hit, but now they're close up. TA2000 not stopping, but he's held down by Mikke. Mikke being disrupted up now. TA2000 digs away and blinks out of there as Omar will be left behind to die. At least they do get the Meepo out. But it's still a pretty okay kind of team fight for both sides.
I would say for Quest, that's not the best look. That's them taking that fight without 33 popping Ravage and with a static storm from Insania only landing onto the Venmancer. So you didn't have the 2 big tools from Liquid coming out, and it still ended up being far more even for Quest than they'd want it to be.
Oh, they
not the best of signs, Nisha.
Nisha. Well, this could be making it a lot better for the side of TA. And Quest is, yeah, they'll take down the sniper, and well, suddenly it looks a lot better. Suddenly it looks a lot better as the sniper is now dead. Because I didn't realize there was a buyback from our Shadow Demon, and an immediate dieback as well, that last team fight. But again, I think now that Nisha's died, you might feel a lot better about that fight as PSG Quest.
That it does. It feels better for the economy for sure. But it's still concerning. Again, that's Liquid without using their spells, and Insania again.
Yeah, going to be taken out by Noob. Not much he could have done about that. Boxy, in the meantime, has to BKB TP away from TA2000. Seems though the Meepo has become a pretty big issue now, and TA just really abusing the dig into the blink away. Makes it very hard for Mikke to just hold on to this Meepo and get the damage off that he's looking for. You saw, like, in a 1v1 between TA2000 and Mikke, it's no problem for the Lifestealer, but with the dig shenanigans you do have on hand, plus the Mega Meepo that you can always switch to, it does become a little bit more challenging.
And it does. And having the full Scotty up kind of changes that story as well. I don't think the full Scotty was up in that last fight, if I recall right. That they had the components. Yeah. So it's going to be a little bit more different now for Mikke. It's not going to be as sustainable. I do like that he's going into his shard for the open wounds. That should help a little bit and try and keep that team fight, or keep the man fight against the Mega Meepo in line into the Yags. Having a little bit more bailout as well with lower infest cooldown, maybe an offensive infest if need be to buy some time. I think the big issue for Liquid in these fights is, again, their team fight spell utilization hasn't been amazing. Quest has been able to break up these fights every single time. It's Quest jumping in first, right? Like, it's the Ducalis getting caught out, and then suddenly Static Storm has to fly out onto the Ducalis, which he's a Venomancer, he doesn't care. 33 gets pinned down for a long time, doesn't manage to crack and shell off the control, and never manages to ravage. Like, they need to be able to land at control. That's where their advantage lies, especially if Malik's not around with its Horn Storm. Still a little bit of an opening here for the side of Quest to go into Roche. A lot of scans in that area. Next flashpoint here for both sides, which Liquid can fight into with that ravage. They just need to be able to pin down some of these softer targets. Maybe take care of Omar off the bat, and then you can start to consider the rest without having to worry about disruption, clutching out moments here for Quest. Some sneaky wards as well from Quest. right by the outpost on the southern side. Not the easiest one to spot out.
They are looking for that Roshan now, PSG Quest, but there is going to be a big smoke from Team Liquid, of course. Unwilling to allow this to go the way of PSG Quest for free. BKB now up from Nisha, so he's going to be feeling a lot safer in the middle of these fights. Ducalis being jumped by Mickey. Mickey still just going to continue to move forward as they do land the rebound, but the Ogre Steel Totem does allow him to get out for now as Ducalis has been left behind and will die. A nice start for Team Liquid. Quest still sticking around. Thinking about making the jump in. Here comes Malik. Who does he go on though? He'll pop his BKB very early, trying to go on to 33, but no, it's Nisha that he really wants. Nisha, he'll pop the BKB straight off the bat as Noob. He'll blow up 33 now, no Ravage available, but he'll buy back on the Tide Hunter. Meanwhile, Mickey, he's got the Meepo trapped up in the Static Storm. The Mega Meepo is going to be thrown out. TA2000 trying to get out of there, but it's not looking good for him. They'll disrupt, they'll buy a bit more time, but 33, he's hit with the Ravage, not allowing him to get up, and no, the dig now. He digs and blinks.
Oh my god.
Oh, but he's on the low ground. It was too short. He couldn't get to the outpost, or rather, he couldn't get to the twin gate. Onto Roshan, Team Liquid will go, and it's going to be a pretty big loss for PSG Quest.
And that's the difference it makes when Liquid can use these teamfight styles on actual targets. Static Storm onto the Meepo, even though it's only the Meepo and his clones, does enough to kind of control TA2000 to that point where he has to Mega Meepo and try to bail out. They take care of the backline really well. They remove Omar from the equation. Great BKB usage, great item usage from the side of Liquid to just stand through that control of Quest. And again, the big difference, they could use their teamfight spell. Sure, it costs 33 a buyback. He dies a little bit too quickly, fully committed by everyone there with the Pulverize on top of him as well. But it makes it all worthwhile. You've got that secondary life for Mika to play a point. And they've got the equalization in net worth down to 6k, which again, it doesn't mean much. That 6k net worth lead is off the back of 33 not having much gold and TA2000 having way too much gold. Everyone in the middle of pack of Quest is sort of hurting. Your scaling is all in on the Meepo, but you are suffering on the other cores. Like, you're not as durable as you'd want to be on Malik or Noob just yet. And they'll lose a tier 2. No outer towers left for the side of Quest. And the side of Liquid, they can start to keep that ramp up going. Ags for Mika, not too far off, is trying to gun for the full Ags Blessing as well. Free up the item slot. Into the Shard, into his own Scotty now. So again, it just becomes easier to manage that Mega Meepo. Although it is taking some time, but it's almost like a bristleback, right, Mike? You ignore it until the end, kill everyone off first, and then the Mega Meepo, it's annoying, but it'll eventually die.
Eventually. Does take a while. Quest. Venturing out of the map, or rather out of the base once again. We'll just take the Wisdom Rune for Malik. Still a 3k advantage Quest's way, but 3k doesn't really mean too much here. The game, though, is still relatively close according to Dota+, plus 65% to 35% the way of Liquid.
Dire are scanning.
Still anyone's game here in this game 1. Top lane, a big group up here from Quest and Liquid. There are no niches around the area. He is just farming the creep wave, so if they did want to jump, they could. Because Mickey still has about 3 minutes on the Aegis timer left as well, so plenty of time to try and approach high ground, if that's what Liquid intend on doing. They are setting up top lane. Wards already being placed around the area. Quest slowly starting to venture out, seeing if they can catch the sniper. Nisha, he will run towards the south and seems to realize they are here. Will connect back with his team and reposition. As Boxy's going to see TA2000, they want to jump in. Nisha has been caught by Noob. Pulverizes out with the Ravage. It does fly and connecting onto another Static Storm, holding a couple together. Nobody's really dead but Nisha, though. Everyone's still running from Quest, trying to get away from the side of Team Liquid, but now 2 down for Liquid. They've also lost Insania. It looks like they're going to lose Boxy to boot. 3 down as Mickey. He'll pop out of the Infest. He'll try to Rage TP away and should be just fine to do so. But 33 has also been left behind. He'll BKB TP out. He's going to be fine. But 3 down for Liquid and nobody down for PSG Quest.
Nah, that's a rough situation for Liquid. Nisha used a concussive grenade to get out of the lane early, so he didn't have it for the jump in and commitment from Noob. Noob, again, finding all the right targets there, jumping that sniper, isolating him away, forcing out the Ravage. And again, it's a very awkward static storm coming out there from Insania, catching non-pivotal targets, really. Not mentioned catching Meepo out. The BKB usage was a lot earlier on the side of Quest, so they managed to ride through.
Yeah, 2000, he does not hesitate to make the jump as soon as he sees Mickey. And Mickey, he's trying to infest here, but he's in big trouble. They'll snare him up. They'll purge him up, but Mickey, he's actually going to survive as Quest. They do not blow him up quick enough. So they will retreat. 33 was right behind him on the way, and well, even without Ravage, Quest do not want to risk throwing the game. They will retreat back towards the safety of their triangle. Looks like they're going to be just fine. Nobody gets caught out.
Yeah. And you still hang on to the Aegis here on Liquid's end as well. Not only 40 seconds left. So that safety net not going to last for too long. There are opportunities here for Quest to play. Again, for Liquid on their part, the Quest are looking for pickoffs. That's the name of the game with this kind of lineup. They're looking for the isolation onto the sniper or the life healer. Either one can kind of work in a vacuum. And for Liquid, they're looking for wider team fights. They want to leverage this AoE control. They want to use that static storm with the Ags up on Insania along with a Ravage, just layered on top of each other. Quest have not been making that easy. Again, they have some really quirky wards just directly planted on the lane where they made those moves up top and down bot when they tried to jump Mickey.
Oh, TA. No, 33. Who jumped to Carlos instead. They didn't know the Meepo was there, to be fair. They hadn't seen him yet. So they just take the kill that they could see. But had 33 just walked a second extra, he would have ran right into a Meepo, and he had Ravage ready to boot. Nevertheless, Team Liquid, they'll take Ducalis' life. They'll move into the triangle of the Dire. But Quest, they're not going to mind too much. I mean, you got your Meepo out of it. So I'm pretty sure they're going to be happy.
That they are. And they hit the critical timing now on Noob. He has his own source of break with the Uproar. He has the Ags up. So it's going to be a little bit harder for Mika in the middle of these fights whenever Rage and BKB are down, which we have seen these fights drag on with how long it takes for both TA2000 and Mika to drop. So you will have that edge now for Noob, not just fully reliant on the 2 charges on Omar to get that break on the life steal and make these fights pretty awkward for the side of Liquid. 7k lead still standing for Quest. Win probability is still Liquid's way, 55%, but there is still a lot of play for Quest. Again, you can't count them out. They've got one last item slot here for TA2000 in that Swift Blink. Maybe you can think about tossing the treads as well, if he so wishes. It is a possibility. For the side of Liquid, you have some good damage on Nisha. He just needs to get protected. Like, he has been taking point for his team much more often, and I get why he is trying to act as bait with everyone else sitting behind him. It's just he melts way too fast when that commitment comes in. They cannot afford to start fights like that once more on Liquid. Quest gonna be looking for that next Roshan on both sides. Liquid, it's a little bit easier for them. They've got tier 2s to protect, so they're not under as much pressure, at least in terms of like the creeps and map control. Just a little bit easier to reshove these lanes. Let's see if they manage to get that pivotal Roche control going their way. 14 minutes in, 18 to 24. It is an issue now with how long these fights take, but how short BKBs are becoming. You know, this is the point where we always talk about how Torrent Storm becomes kind of weak when BKBs come out, and then BKBs shorten down, and then Torrent Storm's really strong again. To be fair, Nisha is still a fairly long duration BKB, so is Mikas. They will try with a smoke out in both ends. See if they manage to find each other. They are pretty far apart right now.
And they're running in the right direction, Team Liquid, running right through the river. TA2000, he'll be the one to show on the creep wave. Ducalis rushing forward is going to have his smoke broken here onto Mickey, but Mickey has no hesitation to go after the Venomancer. Let's pop the rage and goes right for him, so Ducalis is dead. Meanwhile, a Ravage being committed has connected on 2 towards the south. They found the Meepo. The Static Storm going to lock him down. Omar, though, with the disruption, going to help for now, but the Meepo's in huge trouble. And TA2000 is dead, but he's going to bite back as the fight does continue. Insania now going down. Nope, he will rush away from this team fight, at least for now. Is Insania. He TP'd back to the outpost with his buyback. But he's going to be all right. Noob's forced to blink away as TA2000 now rejoining the fight, but the jump is there from Boxy right in the middle. A big torrent though into the boat, landing on 3. Oh, Boxy is down. Boxy is gone. TA2000 completely surrounding 33 here. The Tide Hunter still trying to run. Meanwhile, Mika, he'll find Malik on the Kunkka. Infest onto Nisha, but Nisha should go down and does. TA2000 now onto the Life Stealer. Mika being hexed up, cannot fight back. He will buy back into the fight. Boxy still in trouble. Still being rushed here by TA2000. He will drop to boot.
God.
An ultra kill here for TA. He wants a little bit more, and he might just have him. Nisha's shown up. Once again, the dieback immediately up for the sniper by the looks of it, as they will pulverize, and TA... No! Omar will take the kill.
God.
No rampage yet for TA2000. Onto the Tide Hunter, 33. He brought back into this fight. 33 gone now. Mega kill for TA2000. They're onto Mickey now. Mickey, can you really fight this one, sir? I think the answer might just be no. He'll be X'd up, back into the loving arms of TA2000. The Mega Meepo just whacking away, and the Lifestealer's gone. This game it just looks over. There's no buybacks. They're all committed.
No. There's no way Insania can defend this by himself. They're 40 seconds away from their second support, a minute 20 from everyone else at minimum. Quest have their big opening they're looking for. A little bit of an X-back reset coming in. Not much to really hold back the side of Quest, and that was just a mess from Liquid again. That fight drags on for so long. BKB starts to fade away.
Oh, 30. Look at this crap.
Way too
Bottom
much
lane
going on.
Look at 33. Look at his career. 33's dragging the creep wave away at the bottom lane.
Oh, God.
He's dragged it away. He is not allowed them to go high ground. Yeah.
They're not. They back off completely. I thought they'd just go reset with the X's.
No, the courier's by the Roshan pit now as well. It's just classic 33. His courier survives on 1 HP to boot.
And that's the stall. The creep waves are still coming in, but now you're 30 seconds away from Sniper, 30 seconds away from Tide. They're going for the tier 2 mid instead to try to get more off the map at the same time for Quest. It's still a long time, don't get me wrong. These racks are still under heavy threat, but there can be one last fight here from Liquid. They need to play their cards right. It has to be such a good Ravage and a really good Static Storm from 33 and from Insania here.
They're going to try for the tier 4 towers anyway. 33 has bought them enough time to have one more team fight, that's for sure. They should be able to make it, but they won't have Mickey. They've got to go 4v5. Onto the Ancient TA2000. He's not going to rush it quite yet. He'll go back for the mid racks. Nisha does get caught with the next back here. They're going to jump in with Boxy, fighting through Carlos from the Venom, and now the 33 Ravage, connecting on 3 heroes. They'll drop the Static Storm. They've got the Meepo. TA2000, oh, he gets the Mega Meepo in time. He'll survive for now, just barely. TA2000 not dropping yet. Onto Boxy, he goes. Boxy barely able to rebound away. TA2000, he'll go for the dig now. There's 33, forced the TP out. They've got the Lifestealer back up, so it seems the Quest are going to have to go for a run. And Team Liquid, they will successfully defend. Only 1 rack's down. And it really is all off the back of 33's courier, pulling the creep waves away, not allowing them to go high ground, buying enough time for Liquid to stay in this game 1.
Yeah, it's such good stall from 33. You're still in a pretty terrible position here for Liquid, to be fair. Right, like your Ancient's fully exposed, bot lane's ready to be taken, top tier 2, your last outer tower. Roshan is up. So Liquid does have a little bit of backup in that, and they are setting up for that Rosh up top now as well, with the free Ag's Blessing and the cheese on hand. Quest are aware though, they have the Watcher control, so they know they can run in here. Respawn for the Ducalis isn't too far off. This Rosh is going to go fast. Boxy does commit. But Quest don't care. They want to rush this Ancient. They're setting up on mid.
That makes enough sense. You can get there in time, that is. I mean, Roshan is now officially down, so there should be time for Liquid to get back to the base ASAP. Nisha will be there ready for the defense. But the jump. Oh, no. Never mind. Nisha's not ready. Nisha's not ready. He is dead. No buyback available on him as now the boat will fly in. Boxy surviving for now. Mickey was jumped by Noob. He'll be okay. He'll make the jump in onto the Meepo, but Boxy dropping low, eats the cheese, will survive, but the Ancient is just being focused here by Quest. They will take game one. Oh boy.
Oh, even lower bracket run if you place bottom in groups.
Indeed. Sorry, Jonathan, I was distracted by the music again. They keep switching it up on me, and I'm confused as to why we went with this choice, but it's nice. It's very relaxed.
Vibe.
It is a vibe, Jonathan.
I like it.
Yeah. You know, to be fair, both these teams could be on holiday after this game, so, you know, maybe that's why. Time to plan a trip to the beach or something.
Yeah, a little bit of break time. Of course, Liquid, I'm sure they're going to be using that time to prepare for the Riyadh Masters at the Esports World Cup. Regardless of what happens here, we will at least have that to look forward to. We shall see as we will end the music, get into some serious business here, Mike.
Absolutely. Very curious with this mid-Earthshaker pick as well. I mean, you're going up against the mid-Timbersaw of all things, so it doesn't really feel like the most comfortable kind of pick here for the Shaker. It does feel like that Whirling Death is going to make life a little bit challenging for Noob, but at the same time, you also don't really care about any reactive armor points or anything like that of the Timbersaw because Enchant Totem is just one big hit. Yeah,
I don't think Noob is going to care too much. I think the spam ability of the Enchant is a lot better as well. Much more efficient for sure. And a little bit less downtime as well for Noob to get those hits. Like a double Enchant, if you time it right, is going to hurt Nisha quite a fair bit. Nothing too exciting in these bounty runes. It is a 2-for-2. So we're going to be taking a look at our mid lane as it breaks out, of course. Nisha, again, on the Timbersaw mid, up against Noob on the Shaker mid. This gets me excited. Now, again, like, Nisha shouldn't be completely out. He has Whirling Death to play with. He can go for reactive as well. But I don't expect Noob to struggle too much. Maybe the first level is kind of annoying. You do have the deny potential here for Noob, although he does miss one. And he gets one now, though, but missing those denies is going to hurt. Although, does have to watch that Whirling Death. If he's not harassing, he's going to lose out.
Yeah, it's still a strength here against Timbersaw. Like, this is not going to be an easy lane for Noob by any stretch of the imagination. Up until you get maybe a couple more levels up, and even then I think it's still going to be a bit of a challenge here against Nisha. See how it does go. As top lane, we do already see Ducalis getting extremely low on the clockwork. TA2000 taking a fair bit of harassment on the way out. And it is one of those classic Brewmaster lanes where, you know, with a support that does have spells to throw out, so you do have to be a little bit cautious because they can start to escalate in terms of the damage department very, very quickly here on the side of Liquid. TA2000, again, dropping extremely low now on the HP pool. Even Ducalis, like, for a clockwork, this lane can be quite challenging because you can't really trade effectively as long as 33 and Boxy just stay together.
Yeah, and they are staying together quite nicely here on the side of Liquid. They did mistime the Cinder Brew into the right click, but again, Shadow Realm's very easy. Ignite source for that damage to come in. They do get the isolation now with a Cogs.
They certainly do. Boxy's in big, big trouble, and Boxy looking to die does go down to TA2000. In fact, 33 almost down. They'll let him live on very low HP. 33 will buy out a set of Tangos and a salve and bring it out on the courier, but I mean, I was just saying it should have been challenging for the side of Quest, but apparently not.
Ducalis got the separation he was looking for. Just a little bit too far forward on Boxy. Has to respect that level 2 spike with the Cogs. And again, like, there is some good damage with Cinder Brew Ignite from Shadow Realm, but you do have to be cautious. You can't get the follow-through damage that consistently in that lane outside of just right-click harass. And that's not something 33 can just run up and get some free right-clicks. It is risky with the calls around. So you're having a pretty decent time now for TA2000 off the back of that kill down bot the last lane. Malik on the Bristle, Omar on the Shadow Demon, up against Mickey and Insania on the Faceless Void and the Disruptor. And this one is fairly straightforward. You're not going to be killing off Mickey anytime soon. Does have some good presence with time dilation up against the Bristle as well. But this also shouldn't be the most painful for the side of Quest. You will get your farm up for Malik. You should be able to hit some decent spikes. Still keeping that aggression up top here.
Ducalis is just being an absolute menace here with the Cogs usage of the clockwork. Does manage to get himself a healing Lotus. TA2000 definitely having a splendid old time on the Gyrocopter's bottom lane. Bit of action to break out. Mickey trying to go onto Omar, but he is going to drop. They will find the trade, but now Malik thinking about a dive onto Insania. Doesn't think he should do it, and he does back his way out. You've already got the bigger target on the Void anyway, so why the hell care about the Disruptor?
Yeah, don't really care at all. Again, they are applying that pressure they'd want to. It's going to be a slow process for Mike if you do have this slower lane, right? Like, TA2000 will just outfarm every single time. Even our Bristol can keep that farm pace a little bit faster as well. So Malik shouldn't be too far off in terms of getting his own build-up. I think the one lane you can lean into for Liquid is Nisha's lane. Is going pretty slow for Noob. He is going for the Aftershock instead of the Enchant. So he wants a little bit more of that free chip damage there. They isolate 33 up top just a bit. He is fairly tanky.
I mean, Ducala's going to be just fine to walk his way out as well. I mean, Boxy trying to harass as much as humanly possible. Very, very hard into the gyrocopter because TA2000 just happened to stand his ground and abuse that flak cannon against the side of Liquid. Looking back at that mid lane as well, we haven't really talked about it for a while, but Noob is keeping up. Like, Nisha, of course, is still ahead on the Timber Store as to be expected, but Noob's still doing a pretty damn good job of securing his own CS, though he is always a little bit wary of how close he does get because Nisha obviously just spams Willing Death every single time.
Yeah, I do like this, again, change up in the build, going for the Aftershock maxed out. So trying to just get that free chip damage onto Nisha, just trying to be as annoying as possible to stay in that lane. And the level 6 spike of Nisha is a pretty big threat though. With the Chakram stuff, I do believe there is enough burst damage to deal with Noob. So we'll have to be cautious, especially as the creep wave's constantly shoved against him into his tier 1. And there is dive potential there with the creeps to cover for Nisha if he so wishes once that 6 is up. And again, your side lanes are so tied in. No one can rotate up. They are starting to find stuff though.
Yeah, Ducalis is going to cut Boxy off, so Boxy should just guarantee die here with the battery slot usage, and well, they will have cogs as well. Once the Shadow Realm does wear out, they won't waste the mana on the cogs. A very nice kill being fed the way of TA2000. 33 at least does find himself the courier of TA2000, so you do deny the courier. But that's about it. You have lost the Dark Willow again, and TA2000 is really starting to escalate when it comes to the net worth department.
Yeah, this early farm for the Gyro is going to be a bit of a concern. Again, the Faceless Void is not going to be able to keep up, especially with how hard this bot lane is in comparison. They are starting to emphasize mid.
A nice kill here. Insania rotating with the glimpse back on Noob. Going to set up perfectly for Nisha. Noob, he was playing on the edge the whole time on the Shaker, so just one glimpse back was more than enough. As now TA2000 top lane going to get caught. The Boxy with the Brambles Maze just locking him down, and 33 able to get the damage up.
Some good punishment out from Liquid. We'll lose Insania, but not the biggest kill to really trade away. Still better than nothing for Omar to find. But Liquid are starting to hit, again, these launching points. You've got level 6 on Nisha. He's got level 3 Whirling Death. He can just try to nuke down Noob every single time. Noob, for his part, does have the Slam. So he can start to play aggressively on maybe the side lanes. I don't think mid's that viable. But if you can get some movement out to, say, get a jump onto Mike, perhaps, or even 33, things can start to line up. Just play off your stronger lanes. Leave Nisha alone. Let him do what he wants in the Timber Store for now. He's still focusing on mid, though. They are starting to fight over these wisdoms.
Ducalis, unable to pick it up for himself. Still trying to deny himself off to the Ancients. 33 also dropping very, very low. So Ducalis might turn here. 33 really playing on the edge, hoping for some misses. Ducalis still alive, has cogs back up. Meanwhile, Noob going to go down mid lane. But Boxy, oh, the deny. They still get the deny anyway. A fair bit of time wasted here from Liquid. But back in mid, John, Noob has died another time.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, I think you kind of accept the mid lane's just not going to be the lane you'd want for your Shaker. Again, all things considered, you were doing a decent enough job on Noob, but it is a lane that Nisha will control up and does manage to do so. You are happy with just the space for TA2000. Going for the Crystalist build up into the Ags here. Already has Power Treads, Falcon Blades. It can kind of self-sustain in that lane and just try to flash farm up. The key thing for Liquid now is to play off the back of this strong start for Nisha. About to hit level 8, keeping that mid lane shoved in, forcing a response out, freeing up the side lanes a little bit. Will manage to secure the Arcane Rune for Nisha here as well. So he can look to play aggressive if they so wish. Quest are not ready for this intercept. You know, we're still a ways off from Ducalis hitting 6. They don't have those big stacks this time around for Noob as well. So he doesn't have something that he can just walk up and try to slam for some free gold. This is going to be a slower process into this Shaker's initial items in comparison to his Primal Beast in the last game. Again, the commitment's there for mid. They're playing off their strongest hero in that Timbersaw right now.
They're going to find Ducalis. Ducalis getting him back by Insania right into the arms of Nisha. And still the push does slowly continue. Of course, it seems like PSG Quest probably going to have to accept the T1 tower taking all this damage at this point, because I just don't see how you're really going to defend with the draft they do have and the lanes that they have had. The best lane you did have is TA2000's lane, and of course he is a gyrocopter who just wants to hit creeps. No interest whatsoever in trying to come and defend. Seems like Liquid though, they're going to start roaming through that Dire jungle a little bit, taking these stacks away from the Earthshaker. Nisha will take them all for himself. Of course, will be still at the top of the net worth here on the Timbersaw. Ducalis will be able to find himself a nice little D-ward behind the T1 tower. Omar, on the other hand, very out of position. Will try to run away with the disruption set up, but the glimpses there from Insania. Yeah, another death and another kill to go the way of Nisha.
Again, the right hero to kind of get all of these kills as well. The early tempo from Nisha should buy out that space for 33 and for Mike to keep trying to keep that scaling up, considering how their side lanes went. So it's all down to this mid Timbersaw. Mid tier 1, not the healthiest either. It's not the quickest push, but with how often these creep waves get across, it shouldn't take too long to get that cleanup. They'll find Insania at the least. So they will find something for the trouble. That is slam commitment out from Noob. So that tool is down, but he's not set to really go into a 5-man anyhow. So he'll take what you can get at this point for Quest.
I mean, just a nice little easy kill for Noob. Something he desperately needs as well, because he did have a pretty rough laning stage and has fallen quite behind in net worth. So any kill is a good kill right now if you are the Earthshaker. Top lane, narrowly avoiding finding Ducalis.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Meanwhile, mid lane, Quest has grouped up as 3, but it seems though they're just around here for the D-wards. Not interested in trying to force a push as Insania, looking for a glimpse back, is going to find the Clockwork once again. The Static Storm, just to ensure that there's going to be no follow-up save from Omar on that Shadow Demon. Another nice kill for Nisha. He's now 4-0-1 on the Timbersaw. Boxy in the meantime does get purged up here by Omar, but do they have the follow-up damage is the question. We'll go into that Shadow Realm form. Meanwhile, Nisha is going to show up. They will at least find Boxy. And Nisha has to accept the fact that there is going to be no trades happening.
Dire's structures are fortified.
No. They will, again, find everything they'd want anyway. The objectives are gone. They have control over the triangle. They can start to invade, apply pressure. You don't have a free lane for Malik. He's still under constant pressure out from Mike, who has not been shoved away from bot. The Ag's timing for Malik is lining up, only 1,000 gold away. So that's going to be a big one to play with, but it doesn't feel like the Bristleback's at critical mass yet. It's not the most durable. Maybe when you get a Voodoo mask, it can start to feel better. Set their eyes onto that bot tier 1. And for Liquid, nice and simple, shrinking down the map as best as they can, while Quest doesn't quite have play. They do have the hook shot ready now in Ducalis. They can try to isolate out, maybe 33 if they manage to find an angle, but he is very tanky. The easiest tier to burn down.
It's a nice hook. A nice start here onto 33, but he's of course going to Primal Split immediately and try to start with the 33 shenanigans. His Quest still being chased down actually just by 33, seeing if he can find Ducalis, but they are going to clear out the Brewlings mostly. Now Insania going to show up on the Disruptor, does have Static Storm ready. 33 will go back into the main form. More heroes incoming now from Team Liquid as Nisha's going to show up. He'll find Noob on the Earthshaker for a moment, but does back his way out as the glimpse is going to be there onto the Gyrocopter, but TA2000 will be saved by Omar. So Liquid trying to force a bit of a reinitiation onto Quest, unable to find any kills but the Clockwork.
And that's important for Quest. Just sacrifice your supports right now, get that build-up you want on your cores, get this blink going on Noob with the space you're given. You've got a lot of space for Malik down bot with Mike leaving that lane. So the Ags, only about 30 gold away, should be there off the back of this camp. And you have some tools. And you've got the level spikes you want in your supports as well. It's just a matter of, is this going to be enough to help you start to clean up? Perhaps. Nisha is still a massive issue, though. Like, this Timbersaw already has the Kaya, already has enough gold for the Blink. So you can just start to look for the backline really easily and melt them apart. Noob does have his Blink up with that Ags timing lined up from Malik now, but... And it just feels a little bit harder for Quest to play into that as of now. They need so much more to come in. Heck, even TA2000 is going for the BKB first over the Ags. He knows they're going to need to fight into this.
Bottom lane, they'd love to find Mickey. Mickey, he's been free farming this whole game. Does have Chrono plus the Master Madness available, though he did just commit it. They'll jump in now. Echo has been committed as well. Hook, the Chrono. It's going to lock 3 of them down. Mickey, he'll just turn right back onto Noob. It's a beautiful static storm from Insania, not allowing the follow-up onto the Void. And now poor old Malik, he's been left behind. No teammates to speak of. He would at least pop the Bristol back, takes one with him, but he is almost certainly just going to die. As Nisha will be able to secure a double kill onto the Timbersaw. And it really was just a perfect static storm drop from Insania, not allowing them the follow-up damage they were looking for.
And that's the combination we were looking for from Liquid, right? Like early kills coming out, damage coming through, with the Bedlam coming out onto that Faceless Void as well to provide some output. They make short work of those heroes so clumped together. That's the one thing. You've got double melee into the Faceless Void. You're going to be stuck together to try to find that kill. And the Void's just not an easy target. He has a lot of bailout ways. You don't have that much control outside of your Shaker. So it makes it really tough to find some good angles in. The Quest are going to have to wait a little bit. They have to wait for at least the slam. Whereas the side of Liquid, Static Storm not going to be too far off. And Visha again with a Blink. He just wants to keep hunting.
I mean, Quest is smoked up as 4 now. Heading right back towards Mickey. Well, the Void is going to go through the twin gates though, so he'll be across the map now. Team Quest, they're still having a look around, seeing if they can find anybody here from Team Liquid. Just hanging around that Radiant jungle, but Team Liquid have gone all the way to the north into the Dire jungle, so they're not really going to get caught out by the looks of it. You still have the mid-tier 1 tower to look at if you are Quest. And it seems like they may just have to settle for that, but the problem is they are probably going to start losing that top tier 2 tower very soon. There's a big wave with the siege creep available, and Team Liquid are surrounding the tier 2. So PSG Quest, they've got to make a choice. Do you want to defend? Do you want to push in the mid-tier 1 tower? Right now, they're just kind of standing there by the mid lane doing nothing.
Yeah, it's just a full commitment. Top will fall, and even if they went for the defense, a sneaky ward behind that tier 2 is going to defend the position of Liquid quite nicely. So it's not something they can really hope for. Tower will eventually fall. Fortify to stall. It's still just 2 swipes away, and Liquid should be able to find that. No contest. You do have the better end of the stick here in the trade. Liquid maintaining that lead at 4k up. Oh.
A bit of a missed hook there from Ducalis. Not too big of a deal. They're looking at bot lane again. I mean, they're just running straight towards the Void, wanting to slow down Mickey as best as possible. The thing is, you don't really seem to have much lockdown here for the Void past the Earthshaker. And Noob is not really close by to start this fight for them. Malik's going to run in on his own, but will just kind of reveal himself. Nothing's going to come of it. I think Quest just kind of accept the fact that it might be back to farming for now. Like, you still have TA2000 who's having a great old time on the gyrocopter, so maybe just play off the back of him.
Yeah, I think the issue is he went for the BKB early. So, you know, he kind of has a want to join in these fights to try to leverage that debuff immunity, or maybe just use it to escape when he is ganked up. You are trying to wait for Noob's own BKB as well, which is still a ways off. But you do have that Voodoo Mask timing for Malik, so you can sustain up front, not too far off from full Bloodstone as well. Still about 2,000 gold, but eventually we'll get there considering how fast the Bristol can farm. Liquid, they have some confidence here going into the late game. I love that Mika is also going for the Sanjin Yasha. Again, limited options for control on Quest. So the more slippery Mika can get, the better for the side of Liquid. Not able to really widen the network lead as much as you'd want, though. Again, it's held static at around 4k. But that still bodes well for Liquid. Full Radiance already up on 33. trying to get that further build up, maybe a BKB or just a straight up blink for Quest. And they could start to hunt up top, but Nisha is really just not the target right now, considering how tanky he is. Oh,
Jim's back. Move. Oh, Nisha. Just look at the damage output from this Timbersaw. This poor Shaker just has nothing he can do about it. He was underneath the sentry the whole time. My goodness, a perfect setup from Insania. Nisha is just, he's uncontested this game. 7-0-1 now on the Timbersaw.
Yeah. Again, that gambit with a Shaker mid doesn't fully pay off. Manages to hold the lane just fine, but once Nisha gets that earlier 6, it just falls apart. There's no play right now on the side of Quest. Have to be a little bit cautious farming forward here as well. They do have the Watcher at least to show Nisha. But he is going crazy.
Well, TA2000's not even going to blink here seeing the Timbersaw. Just continues the farm game. Not concerned whatsoever. I mean, he probably should be concerned though, because Mike is getting very, very close to his own net worth advantage over the Gyrocopter. Again, Mike has been completely uncontested this game 1. Dying once during the laning stage, but that was really just about it. It's like Noob's desperately trying to farm his own BKB so he can just survive those initiations from Nisha. I suppose if you are PSG Quest, you probably aren't going to be moving until you have that up, because it's just every single team fight you get static stormed, or you just get controlled by 33, or Nisha just jumps you and blows you up. It just seems pertinent now that you have BKBs in your cores before you try anything.
Yeah, just have to wait. You're going to have that lining up with the Bloodstone of Malik relatively soon as well. So it's going to be a big power spike for Quest to play off of. No need to rush. Just have to accept the fact that Liquid will also farm as effectively. Mika has that full Sanjin Yasha we're talking about. They do commit a lot to just blow up an illusion, but these are fairly low cooldown spells on Boxy. You don't really care. Take away any scouting potential here for Quest. The Ags is coming out for TA2000 relatively soon as well, so the side gunner will be there, speeding up the farm just a tad bit, providing a little bit more team fight presence here for TA2000 on top of that. I think for Quest, the issue is the ease of execution is a lot harder this time, right? Like, again, you're kind of stonewalled into hoping for some good isolation plays from Noob. Whereas for the side of Liquid, you've got Static Storm and Chrono, and they've got a smoke and a very good flank here.
Are scanning.
TA2000, Chrono immediately out. Is this going to be the Chrono you wanted though? Mickey still just trying to blow him up, but the disruption is there from Omar, and now the Echo Slam, but it catches nothing. They caught nothing but Boxy with it. TA2000, he'll survive the initial onslaught, as now Mickey's in huge trouble. The Void is gone. TA2000 though still being chased down by Nisha, but he's going to try for a TP play out. In fact, he'll cancel. He'll move back onto the Timbersaw. He wants more. Nisha's going to try and fight back, but it's no good. Here comes 33, trying to at least secure the Gyrocopter's life, and he will get it. In fact, he still has the Primal Split. He'll pop it, moving back in onto Omar. Insania might just drop here to Omar's damage, but no. Insania barely surviving. There's now Malik trying to deal with the Broodlings of 33. Can deal with most of them, but 33 will still be able to find his way out.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
Yeah, does manage to bail out in the nick of time. That was not as bad as it could have gone for Quest. Certainly not the ideal, but you can see there is play. Great save coming out there once more on Omar for that Shadow Demon. That disruption buys them enough time to get that going, and that was before the Ags was up on TA2000. So they lacked a lot of damage. They lacked some lifesteal. There's not even a Morbid Mask up yet on this Gyrocopter. That entire fight changes if any of those items are up. Let's take a look again. Like, they get that one isolated Chrono, but Omar's just there. Slam, a little bit of a whiff. Doesn't matter in the end. Like, they get the room needed to really leverage Malik and his Ags Bloodstone. Just so much to stand on this Gristleback.
Absolutely is. Very, very hard team fight for Liquid. I mean, I think the opening Chrono may have been a bit of an issue from Mickey's end, because they didn't see the Shadow Demon at all. And it just made it so they couldn't blow him up in time. There's now PSG Quest. They look right for the Roshan pit. Be a free Roshan to go their way, as Team Liquid will just have no contest without their spells. It should be a nice, easy Aegis here for TA2000. And of course, now with the Ags up, he can go straight for the Satanic on the Gyrocopter, and that's going to make it infinitely harder to kill him even mid-chrono.
Yeah, it's not going to be a good feeling for Liquid, especially considering that, again, Mike went for a little bit more durability with his Sanj and Yasha first. So there's a little bit of a lack of damage, although he is almost done with the Mjolnir anyhow. That should fix itself up relatively soon. Quest, I think, again, if these fights line up, if they start to find better angles, even better angles for Noob, I think you're a little bit concerned for Liquid. Like the fact that the Slam didn't even catch the backline support still caused issues for Quest. If he doesn't focus on the front line at all and just looks for Insania, looks for Boxy, you're going to lack a lot of fall through once Chrono is down. All of these heroes are just so pivotal in trying to get that up. I'll try to play poke with Noob, but does have the BKB to bail out if need be. Not really the target that you'd want to try to burst down. Liquid. There is confidence going late game. Don't get me wrong, for the side of Liquid. It is manageable in late game. You've got Chrono, you've got Ags upgrade, Static Storm. That Insania is starting to line up, has the Philosopher's Stone to get that going as well. So you still have a lot more team fight that is a little bit more reliable on top of that. They just need to watch out for Quest. They can't afford to just catch one of the front lines with the save options in the back. Like, you have to spot Omar.
This would be a big kill if they can find 33. Oh, Noob just waiting for his teammates to meet up with him. 33 is going to have the opportunity now to retreat. They are still on the lookout for him. 33 going to actually stick around to farm the large cap, but Ducalis, oh, he's going to be blocked by the hook. The hook doesn't really land onto 33, but rather the small creeps. And now poor old Ducalis probably just going to be left behind. Though Echo has been committed. Boxy does cop it, but it was only on one, and Boxy actually survives with the Shadow Realm, so now Noob needs to get the hell out of there. A bit of a chaotic team fight already. Is Chrono? Oh, Mike, he found three targets. He has found 3 targets here. Omar and Ducalis, both already down. TA2000 cycloned up by 33, forced the fight now. Will try to go into the void, but he'll just time walk away. And TA2000 will have to TP out of this team fight, as Malik will be left behind. Does still have the Bristleback to use, but everyone just kind of looks away and gets the hell away. And poor old Malik should eventually be dead. Noob's still around here on the Earthshaker as well, and 33's trying to cyclone him up. Doesn't quite get it done, but Malik will still drop.
At least the big ones on the side of Quest. Again, they can't afford to just isolate the cores, but they catch the saves this time on the side of Liquid. Catching out Omar, no disruption save through the Chrono. That's basically their only counter spell, their only counter play to the Chrono. Maybe you could count Hookshot as well in the calls, but he was also caught in that trap. Just not the right area for the side of Quest, although
they got Nisha. That's a big one. That's a big kill. Insania trying to help out with the Static Storm, needs to just try to get out of there now. Like, he might just be okay. Noob does not have blink for 3 seconds. Ducalis still chasing him down, but has no hookshot, just trying to keep up the vision. But ultimately, Insania is fine. You got the bigger target anyway. I mean, you take down Nisha like that, you're going to be feeling very good about yourself.
Yeah, man. That's the one they need to put a stop to. And again, this is where Quest can shine. Without Chrono and Static Storm, there are openings. You don't have to worry about that hold. You don't have to worry about that isolation. You can play front forward. You don't have Slam, but it doesn't feel like the most pivotal spell. It does really feel like all about TA2000 and Malik just sustaining true in these fights. These heroes certainly can. They'll find a tier 2 for their trouble now. They even out the map control a bit. Again, the network lead of Liquid has not really gone past 4 or 5k. Goes back down to 4k at this point. Quest, they're starting to get the tools needed to take these fights. Aegis, not too much time left here for TA2000, so in a little bit of a risky position. It does have the full Daedalus along with at least the Morbid Mass coming out. So that sustain for the Gyrocopter is going to kick in. Again, Malik, they've done a great job on Liquid's end to just ignore this Bristle, but how long can you keep ignoring this guy along with the Gyrocopter? If that Chrono's down, you're probably not able to ignore him for that long.
It feels like time is ticking. Team Liquid still at a 79% win probability based off Dota Plus's predictions, but feels a lot closer than that. one of those games where one team fight will just change everything. Yeah, TA2000, he's getting pretty huge on this gyrocopter.
Dire are scanning.
Does even have the Paladin Sword to boot, so you've got plenty of heal coming in here for the gyro mid-chrono. Nisha can be right by Ducalis. Noob's going to use his Invis rune here. Problem is there is a sentry ward in the mid lane, so they will see him walking past. In fact, they might be able to pick him up now as they do scan him out. But Noob, no, he's going to be safe. 33 trying to bait him forward, but it is not going to work. Instead, Noob running towards Niche, or rather Mickey top lane. Maybe looking for a kill onto Boxy on the creep wave. But Liquid are just patiently waiting for Noob to show his face, and there's your echo. Immediate chrono committed. A lot of patience from Liquid, but obviously it does work out in their favor.
Yeah, just off the back of these wards on mid into the scan, they knew that there was a hunt being initiated by Noob, and he does get punished. He is trying to play opportunistically, right? Like, you're trying to look for pickoffs while it's slow, but that gives Liquid a little bit of an opening. No chrono, though. So Quest, if they wanted to re-engage, they still have their two big hitting cores in the Bristle and in the Gyro without having to worry about that hold. So Liquid are forcing their way in here.
33. They're going to find TA2000. Static Storm is out onto Omar to ensure that TA does not have the backup he requires to try and survive this initial initiation, as TA2000 dropping very, very low. Going to BKB TP out. Oh, the bash! Right in time for Mickey. That's a huge kill now for Team Liquid. They can start looking on towards these tier 2 towers.
Man, it's just a fragmented response from Quest. Like, they already had Malik walking away from mid, while the rest of them were still hanging around the triangle right outside it. They weren't fully committing for the farm either. They knew something was going to happen, but they kind of don't fully retreat, and it cost them. All of a sudden, Liquid widen that lead up to 7k. They've got an opportunity to melt some of these last tier 2 towers left. They will take care of mid with Mike. Chrono only 40 seconds off. Roshan in half a minute. We'll see that timer. Quest, again, they still have play here, but they have to be cautious about giving opportunities like this back. I mean, they had a window. Again, they could have played more confidently without Chrono, but they were split apart and they weren't playing together.
Yeah, I mean, you saw TA2000 was literally praying that there was no bash to come out mid-TP on the cams, and well, sadly, his face kind of said it all after the bash came out. It was not a very happy face, if you ask me. Ducalis, top lane, getting caught, does get the cogs off and does manage to jetpack away. Noob's been actually trapped in the tree line here, but they haven't noticed it. Meanwhile, Team Liquid just focused on the bottom tier 2 tower. They do have Chrono now officially back up for Mickey, but they are going to retreat. They do not have the Primal Split available at the moment, and there's just no need to rush the game. You are now 10k ahead as Team Liquid, and looking very good to take this game too.
And you are. Again, so much on the line for Liquid. If they get that win here, and if Heroic or Aurora get 2-0'd on their other games, there is a chance. In fact, I can update. There's a little bit, again, spoiler alert warning. Heroic have been 2-0'd by Extreme. So Liquid, if they win this, can at least force one tiebreaker out. Okay. They are still in the game. They can go 4-6.
Good news for Liquid. See if they can just kind of close out the game. I mean, right now they're in a prime position to have their way in this game too. There's Yag and Imceptor finally coming out for Noob on the Shaker, but I mean, this mid Shaker has just really not had any impact. Like, it feels like nothing's happening here with Noob.
Yeah, I think it will really shine the high ground defense. That's where it has to come into. This real clumped up area where you can force a team fight. Heck, even the fact that Mike does not have a BKB can play in his favor. As long as he's not in Chrono, you've got some ways of keeping a bit of a chain stun going there. Let's try to smoke off the back of his Ags now. I don't know how well you take these fights outside, though. Again, Chrono is back up for Mike.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Oh, Liquid waiting on the high ground of that Dire triangle. Quest are on the low ground. They'll get some wards down. They still won't see 33, but now they do. Smoke broken. 33. More than happy to tank the initiation of PSG Quest. Ducalis already getting shredded here by Nisha. Does jet back away, but TA2000 has been jumped by Mickey. No chrono as of yet. They'll back off and reinitiate once that BKB is gone from TA2000. Meanwhile, Ducalis, he's already gone down. TA being locked down for what feels like an eternity as they go right into the backside looking for Noob on the Shaker. They'll commit the chrono. They've got the Shaker locked down. Noob is gone. And now they can comfortably move on to the rest of Quest. As Omar will be the next target. Who do you want next? Do you want Malik? Do you want TA2000? Omar's brought back into the fight. Team Liquid just retreating as they see the Bristleback moving forward. Omar, curse crowned already. In trouble. Team Liquid, very good target prioritization. Do find the die back here on the Shadow Demon. Now they want TA2000. They want the big man. And TA is just getting bashed to oblivion here by Mickey. He is down. No buyback available. Malik in trouble. He'll pop the Bloodstone. He'll pop the Bristleback. But he is out of gas. Hook. Ducalis. He's back in. They are going to find Nisha. All right. They'll defend. Mickey, do you really want to keep going? The answer appears to be no. They do not have enough to take down the Bristleback any longer. They'll take the team fight, but it's not going to amount to a high ground attempt. In fact, Noob is still having a look around to see if he can find himself a straggler. And he may just find Insania in a moment. Glimpses out, but the Fisher will land, so they might at least find another target. And they will. Insania is gone.
Get a nice kill set up. Roshan is up as well, and they're in the right side of the map for Quest, although start to take that walk to top now. Good old Roche. They can still contest on the side of Quest. Overall, a pretty big win. Again, for Liquid, a little bit staggered with the spell use. Not the best chrono target in Noob. Like you said, the Shaker isn't doing anything, so it shouldn't be a priority at all in the chrono, it feels like. And that just left room for Malik and for TA2000
Very
to play.
Careful here, sir. Vicky. Cog's pushback is there. They'll break the Lincolns as well. Chrono's up in 20 seconds, but Roshan has begun by Quest. The question is, do Quest want to keep going now? Because Chrono is now 15 seconds away. And it seems like they are not feeling confident enough to try and force Roshan. They'll retreat.
They do have the vision set for this fight. They've got some good wards watching over the pit. So it's not going to be as easy for Liquid to just go in and steal it. They've got Slam ready on Noob. But they have a nice ace in the hole here for Mickey. Does have a silver edge, so he has the solution for that bristle. Just needs to find a right break. Still, Quest know how big this Roshan is. They won't walk away, but there's the smoke.
They snuck up indeed, Mickey.
Oh.
TA2000 spotted. They'll also see Malik. They'll break him up immediately, but the Fisher is going to make it hard to actually take the Bristleback down, as Omar does save for now. Mickey moving on to the Shadow Demon has found Omar. That's one down. TA2000 in the meantime losing half his HP already. Meanwhile, Malik trying to find Insania, has caught out the Disruptor, but needs a bit of help in the damage department as Mickey, he'll throw the Chrono out. He found the Bristleback immediately, and Ducalis is also gone. A triple kill for Mickey. And the rest of Quest once again are on the retreat. There's just no fighting as 2 versus 5. And Liquid, they could go back for a very comfortable Roshan.
Yeah, no contest now from Quest. They do at least manage to buy space for TA2000 to TP out. Noob and TA2000 working together well to block off 33 from getting the split off. Buying just enough time to salvage that situation, get the Gyrocopter out of harm's way. Still, a secondary life and a cheese ready here for Liquid. And they have an opportunity for the high ground. This break on Mika, simplifying the process and taking care of Malik. And Liquid looking like they're rallying great here in game 2 again. 16k lead. You had an amazing early start for Nisha. The investment in Mike has paid off. Quest, it's such a difficult game. They don't have enough utility on Omar. No Ags up yet for the charges. Does not have the Aether Lens even. Heck, doesn't even have something like a telescope to help them reach out. So it's just a lot harder to get in that position to save your cores. And for the side of Quest, just taking these team fights is so rough. It's all in on Noob. And Noob hasn't found a good slam at all.
I'll do Carlos. Trying to force out the mid creep wave. He's going to have to pay for that with his life. Mickey now going to have enough gold to have the full Satanic build up. Not that he really needs it, but just in case. There's your Satanic to come out now on the Void. Again, PSG Quest, I mean, you've got to hope for the high ground defense to come. It's very, very challenging. Like, you don't have the Echo Slam available. Chrono's back up in 20 seconds here for Mickey. Noob. He jumped by Nisha. They'll miss the chakra. I mean, this Void just feels impossible to kill. Like, you've got to kill him twice. Aegis and a Satanic. Chrono up. He'll just take the Rain Racks for free. They are chipping away, but of course, you can always just time walk off all the damage that Malik did just apply. Meanwhile, speaking of Malik, they'll try to catch out the Bristleback, but he's all right to run his way out. Mickey does now officially finish off that mid-rat. Looking towards that top lane of Barracks now. Of course, Liquid are being very cautious not to group up against the Shaker, which makes enough sense. They're just letting Mickey do all the work on his own. PSG Quest, a very hard defense to come because they've just got no angle to jump Mickey at the moment. There's no way you burst him down in time. And even if you do, again, he does have the secondary life whenever. So you might be stuck just playing with 2 Raxes down at this stage for PSG Quest if Liquid back off after this one. Nisha going to jump in on Malik, just a bit of a warning shot. Meanwhile, 33 just being annoying with the Brewlings just split pushing the bottom lane. Does take out the tier 3 tower plus almost the Raxes. Now they make the jump in on a Boxy, but he'll just shatter them away. No killing anyone as here comes Mickey. Onto Carlos he'll go. The clockwork is immediately down as Liquid will continue just ignoring Malik and ignoring the Gyrocopter, trying to find Noob on the Earthshaker. Malik almost finds Insania, but not quite. The Terrorizer's there.
Oh,
Malik is down.
Buyback.
No buyback available for him. At least they got the Disruptor, but now TA2000 is being chased by Mickey. Chrono is out. He was healing through with the side gunner, but it's not going to be enough. No buyback available for the Gyro either, and they've called it. GG is called. Noob will jump in for an echo, but it does nothing.